Hi, this is Ken Rosever, and we're going to do a little video here on rejecting unreasonable claims based on average statistics. So, here we go. And Alex, you'll be given problems like this, similar to this one. And here it is. A weight loss clinic advertised that last month its patients, on average, lost 8 pounds. Assuming that average refers to the mean, which of the following claims must be true based on this information? And if I could underline here, I would underline, and I would underline the word must. Must be true. Not could be true, could possibly be true, or even likely be true, but must be true. More than one statement could be true. If none of the statements is true, mark the appropriate box, and that's the box down at the bottom that says none of the above statements is true. So here we go. Last month, some of their patients lost exactly 8 pounds. Well, if on average they lost 8 pounds, does that mean necessarily that some of them lost exactly 8 pounds? No, not unless they only have one patient. If they have one patient, then the average is that patient's weight loss divided by 1, and then it would work out. But if they have more than one patient, we cannot be sure that any of them lost exactly 8 pounds. So we're not going to click this first box. Last month, at least one of their patients lost more than 4 pounds. Well, let's assume for a second that this statement is false. If it is false that at least one of them lost more than 4 pounds, what's the opposite of at least 1? Well, not 2, not 3. The opposite of at least 1 is none. And if we assume that none lost more than 4 pounds, then the average could not be more than 4 pounds, right? So this must be true. At least one of them had to have lost more than 4 pounds for the average to have come out to 8 pounds. All right. Last month, all of their patients lost 8 pounds or more. Well, if all their patients lost 8 pounds, then this could be true. But if some of them lost more, then the average would be higher than 8. So is this true? Could it be true? It could be if all of them lost 8 pounds, but must it be true? Is it true that it has to be true? No, it's not. Last month, we can't infer that from the little bit of information we get from knowing the average. So we can't check this box. 2 months ago, at least one of their patients lost at least 8 pounds. Okay, 2 months ago. Well, you don't even have to read the second half of this statement. If it said last month, at least one of their patients lost at least 8 pounds, we would have to say, yes, that's true, but that's not what it's saying. It's saying 2 months ago. And from the data we have here, which is based on last month, we can't infer anything about 2 months ago. They might have not even been open 2 months ago. So we cannot check that box, even though the second part of the sentence seems true and would be true if the antecedent was last month. Anyway, so we can't check that. Last month. All right, so now we're back in the timetable we should be. The number of their clients who lost less than 8 pounds was equal to the number of their clients who lost more than 8 pounds. No, not necessarily. Why? Because this is a mean, not a median. So we have no guarantee that the middle number is 8, or that the number of clients below 8 and above 8 are equal. Here, let me give you an example. Let's say that they have 3 clients, and one of them lost 4 pounds, another one lost 6 pounds, and the other one lost 14 pounds. 4, 6, and 14, take the average, and you'll find it's 8. However, Are there equal numbers above 8 and below 8? No. 4 and 6 are both below 8. 14 is above 8. There are not equal numbers of clients on both sides of the spectrum. So we cannot say, based on the average being the mean, that there's equal numbers on both sides. So no on that one, because we're talking about mean here, not median. Okay, and we can't click the last one because we did click this one. So that's it. We're going to try another one in a moment, but here we go. How'd we do? Very good. You seem to have mastered the question. And I'm going to hit done. And I'm going to hit more practice. I'm going to do one more. And we'll go through this one a little quicker. An investment company advertised that last year its clients on average made a profit of 10%. Okay, so that means some could have made more, some could have made less. You could have even had few that, or one, that made exactly 10%. But assuming that average refers to the mean, which of the following claims must be true based on this information? Again, emphasis on the must be. So last year, all of their clients made a profit of less than 16%. No, not necessarily. You could have a client make 18% and another client make 2%, and that would still average to a profit of 10%. So you don't know that. This year, at least one of their clients will make a profit of at least 10%. Well, based on last year, you might think so, but last year is no guarantee of this year. And so that is not something that we could say must be true. That is not a claim that we could say has to be true. So we're not going to click the second box. So let's go down to the third. Last year, some of their clients made a profit of exactly 10%. No. We could have one client making 8, one client making 12. Just because the average comes out to 10% doesn't mean any of them made it. It's not the mode. It's not the most frequently occurring value. It's the mean. And therefore, any element of the data does not actually have to equal the mean. The mean is just demonstrating the central tendency. It's one way of doing it. Last year, next box. Last year, at least one of their clients made a profit of at least 10%. So last year, at least one made a profit of at least 10%. If at least one made 10%, so they're saying at least one made 10% or more, and that has to be true for the average to come out 10%. Does that make sense? If none of them had a profit of at least 10%, then all of them would have had a profit that is less than 10%, and there's no way that the average profit could have been 10. So that is a box we're going to click, because last year at least one of their clients had to have made at least 10% if the average were to come out 10%. Last year, fewer than half of their clients made a profit of 10% or less. We don't know anything about where the average divides up the data, right? We talked about this in the earlier part of the video. And typically what you find, I think, as you do these is you only check off one box. So we are done here. I'm going to hit next. It's going to tell me very good, and I'm going to hit stop. And that's going to be all for this video. Adios.